Hello guys, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. I'm Kweku Nyantechi, and in case you joined this channel was made to help international students trying to apply to schools in the United States. So we are going to look at visa applications, and so as usual, stay tuned and join me for more. Alright, so we are going to discuss very important things that are needed during the visa interview process. I must say there are many videos about visa interview preparations and things you need to know, and there are many videos that can be made to talk about different aspects of the visa application phase. And this video specifically is going to talk about the general requirements that are needed for your visa interview. Now, before we move into the video, it is imperative, according to the United States law, that every international student, or I would say in most cases, all international applicants have to go through a visa interview process in their country at the US Embassy before they are permitted to enter the United States after they gain admission to study in the US. Students seeking to study in the United States would need an F1 visa, which is the visa category that students are given before they cross borders to the United States to study. And before you get your F1 visa, you need to speak to a consular officer at the US Embassy in your country in order to determine your genuineness or your preparedness to move to the United States to study. And so this is what necessitates the visa interview. Now I'm going to make a number of videos as time goes on about the United States visa interview process, but this is just an introductory video to give you a broad understanding of the things you need on the day of the visa interview, in terms of the questions you will be asked and the areas you need to be mindful of. So for your visa interview, one thing you need to know is that 3 areas are assessed by the consular officer that's going to interview you on that day. And these 3 main areas are: number 1, your financial capabilities or your financial ability. And so studying in the US, particularly post-secondary studies in the United States, is costly, and so moving from your country to the United States, you would have to prove that you have the financial means to cater for yourself as a student in the US. And so one of the things that would be looked at by the consular is your financial preparedness. I'm going to make a video or a series of videos to talk about how to prove your financial capabilities during your visa interview. So stay tuned for those. So you need to prove your finances, whether you've been given funding by a university, or you're going to be sponsored by an agency, or it's going to be self-funded. You need to convince the consular on that day that you have the financial means to study in the United States. This is a major requirement, and so if you are planning to move into the US after gaining admission to a US school, you need to find a way of proving that you can cater for the costs. And the easiest way to do that is to look for funding in the school which you've gained admission to. There are different types of funding, and I've made a video to talk about the different types of funding that is available in the United States, and you can check that video out on this channel. You need to show bank statements or funding offer letters from the school to the consular for them to know that you are really prepared to school in the United States. It's not very advisable to go for a visa interview if you have no clear-cut funding source for your studies. Most visa interview denials are because of inability to prove financial capabilities, and so you would want to search very well for schools and funding opportunities. And I'll be doing videos on schools and the schools that give funding opportunities and all of that, and so stay tuned for all those videos. So aside the financial aspect of it, the second thing you need to look at when going for your visa interview is your home ties. And so some of the questions you would be asked would be based on whether or not you would like to return after your studies to your country. And this should satisfy the requirement of proving your home ties. One thing you need to know is that during a visa interview, the consular officer is going to assess something. There is an inverse relationship between your home ties and your probability of coming back after your studies. When I say inverse relationship, what I mean is there's an opposite relationship between these two factors. And so the stronger your ties to your home, the higher the probability of coming back from the United States after your studies. Now, the weaker your ties to your home, the higher the probability of remaining in the US after your studies, which is something that the consular officer would not want to see, because your intention to move to the United States is to study. And so you would not want to give the consular officer an impression that you want to relocate to the US and stay there afterwards. That would defeat the purpose of your movement to the United States. And so you need to prove how strong your home ties are. And there are several ways of proving home ties, and those ways can be assessed by the consular during the interview. I'll be doing a separate video to talk about how to prove home ties during the visa interview. There are different ways of proving home ties. Some, you can do that by showing that you are married, or that you have a job and you have a well-paying job, and you would want to come back to those things. Just anything to prove that there's something in your country that you want to come back to. And so home ties is the second thing you need to prove in your visa interview. Now, the third thing that you need to show to the consular officer, the third thing broadly that you need to show is your genuineness as an intended student in the United States. And so many people can easily apply for schools because they want to leave their country or they want to experience the United States. But it is always good to prove to the consular officer during the interview that you are going to the United States to study and not going to the US because you want to visit a friend, you want to stay with some family members there, and those other visa categories are giving you a hard time, and it's easier or it's easiest to go through schooling. you need to prove that you are going to the United States to study, and you prove that by being able to answer all the questions associated with your admission and how you got into the school and which professors you'll be working with and which city your school is located in, and all those things. Questions that show that you were genuinely interested in applying to a school in the United States, and not just any agent applied for you because you wanted to leave the US. There's been situations where people have gotten admission into schools, and when they went for their visa interview, they asked them which school they were going to, and they couldn't mention the name of the school, or they couldn't mention the name of the program. If you do that, it shows that you are not going to the US to study. If that was the case, you would certainly know what school you are going to, what program you are applying to, what city the school is located in. And so for those who apply to United States schools through agents, you need to make sure you know very much about the school you are applying to, everything about it. And so I'll be making a video very soon about how to prove genuinely to be an intended student in the United States. And so these are the 3 areas you need broadly while preparing for your visa interview: your financial capabilities, your home ties, and your genuineness as an intended student in the United States. This brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and remember to hit the notification button so that anytime a video drops, you'll be the first person to see it. Until the next video, see you.